Okay, so this one wasn't even going to become a video because I'd shelved this one permanently, but my friend Jason and my daughter were giving me a hard time about this one the other day, saying, "Oh, Tennessee Fats, we didn't see the actual comic haul you referenced in your other video. What'd you get?" I tell you, when I was trying to record the intro to this, I guess life happens a lot around my house. I could not splice together a good video clip on this one for any sort of continued audio that made any sort of consistent sense whatsoever. So I finally just gave up on the big and said, screw it, I'm re-recording the whole damn thing. So what you're going to see at the front end of this is a lot of the stuff where it's the re-record. The only actual salvageable part is the back end, where you'll notice it's very noticeable. I'm totally different outfit, different hat, and away you go, and a different background, I think. So, hope you enjoy this one. Hey everybody. So what I'm going to do today is I'm reshooting an intro for something that I wanted to get out to you guys, which is the importance of doing comic crawls. One of the things that I had a chance to do a couple weeks back was actually take a drive outside of my local area, and I went out to visit 3 comic shops that I have never been to before in a city that's not my city, because I was trying something different. I think we all know pub crawls, and we know what the negative repercussions are of those in the long term, even though you might enjoy yourself at the time. But comic crawls are something different. They're what those of us who are nerdy comic people do when we're heading out of town to go to try to find things that we can't find at home. And what I wanted to do on this one is talk to you guys about a trip that I had where I went out to the Hammer, which is Hamilton, Ontario, for those of you who don't know, where I had a chance to be there for business, and I had a couple hours in the afternoon when my day was done, and I went for shopping. Let's face facts. I went to 3 different shops. I went to Conspiracy Comics, which was number 1. I went to Comic Connection number 2, and I went to Big B Comics number 3. Now, I am very much a guy that's going to support local shops. I'm very loyal to my local dealers. I will go to them 99.9% of the time. And every once in a while, I'll go out to a show to look for things that I can't find otherwise. I'm a very specific buyer. I only have about 15 comics or titles that I'm interested in buying at all. So when I'm out shopping, I'm really, really picky. I know I'm probably the exception to the rule, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm not one of these guys that runs around going, buy, 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 buy. I'm a guy that's out there picking only the things that I want. So for me, when I'm trying to find one of these 15 items, I need to go abroad because I've already been to my local shops and they don't have it. So that's what I'm doing. So what I do is I went to those 3 shops, and I'm going to walk through how happy or unhappy I was with each of those in succession here and give you my 2 cents. Okay, so the first shop I went to was called Conspiracy Comics and Games, I think is what it's called. Interesting shop. If you're into new comics and you're into variants, you want to go here. It is a smaller shop, like physically. It's a physically smaller shop, but it is ram-packed full of stuff. They had long boxes full of variant modern covers. Now that's not my shtick. Full disclosure, it's not anything that I'm interested in looking at. I did buy 1 item here. And it's not going to go into my whole, hey, look at my comic haul at the end of this video, because it wasn't even for me, it was for my daughter. And it was a trade paperback, because they have a big selection of trade paperbacks here. So Conspiracy Comics and Games, if I got that name right, that's an okay shop. If you're looking for modern, you're looking for manga, big manga selection. Or you're into games, this is the place to go. So my thoughts on that one, not for me, but I'll tell you, as far as selection goes and what I did observe, pretty cool. Thumbs up on that one. Okay, shop number 2. Shop number 2 was Comic Connection. Now, Comic Connection, I'm going to throw out a spoiler on this one. It was hands down the winner for this trip. Hands down the winner for this trip. Stepping into that shop was like walking into a store 30 years ago and what comic stores used to be. Incredibly small space. Thousands of comics. And cards. Cards, not my shtick, but thousands of comics. Their selection was huge. The things I found on their wall was massive. As far as, like give you the example, 15 things that I'm looking for, 3 of them were on the wall. The hell are the odds? So that place, hands down, really, really cool. You're walking in there and you're picking through the aisles, and you're wondering how many things you're bumping into when you're walking down the only 1 of 2 aisles that they've got, because you're rammed in there so tight. But I'll tell you, so much really good stuff in there. I wish I had more time to shop in there. I unfortunately was in a bit of a time crunch, so I had to run out of there. They do only take cash. Totally fine. Cash is king. I understand that. There's a TD Bank right around the corner. It's less than 15 seconds to walk there. Walk there, get the cash, come back, do your shopping. It was really, really cool. As I said, 3 wall books that were big ones for me. Wall books that I was very happy with, which, what are the odds? But the other thing that I found, and this is I'm going to save for the surprise, these little things are yay big, and that's actually actual size, which I'll show you later, which are very, very, very hard to find. They're not even on my 15 item to buy list because they're so obscure. It's just one of those things when you see them, you just grab them. Because you know not to bother asking because it's a waste of time. You're never going to see them in the wild. But as I say, 2 of them I found there. I'll show you those later. So, so Comic Connection, 2 thumbs up. Well done. Great shop. Go in there. I believe the guy who owns the shop's name is Ian. Really nice guy. He'll cut you a deal if you're in there buying a bunch of stuff. I'm a terrible negotiator when it comes to buying comics because as far as I'm concerned, I'll just pay what you're asking. I'm a fair dude that way. And what I like about doing that is when I do that, people remember that and they know I'm not somebody sitting saying, I'll give you $2 for this. That's not me. And they're happy dealing with me in the future. But this guy, just totally out of the blue. So I'll cut you a deal. I was like, okie dokie, which I truly appreciated. So thanks, Ian. Thanks to Comic Connection. Really enjoyed that one. 2 thumbs up. Okay, shop number 3. This one I'm going to say a little bit more about because I'll tell you honestly, this one I'm still on the fence and I have mixed reviews of what I think about this shop. It's Big B Comics, Hamilton location. I'm probably one of the few people that can say I have now shopped at all 3 of the Big B Comics locations. And there are 3 of them. One's in Barrie, one's in Niagara Falls, the other one's in the Hammer. I'll tell you, the one in Niagara Falls, really cool experience. I was a little disappointed in their back issue selection, but they knew a lot about Canadian whites, which I thought was really, really cool because that is something that I do buy. And pretty cool. I go to Big B Barrie, I'm walking through, their back selection is really good. And as I'm walking along, I find a Jeff and Mutt book. Again, 25 years actively of collecting comics, never even seen one. So of course I purchased that. So Big B Barrie obviously got 2 thumbs up for me. I was quite happy with that one. Big B the Hammer. This is a big store, physically a big store. And I'll tell you, I have 2 critiques on this one, which I'm going to say these are opportunities for growth. The way you display your comics on the back wall in the case where you've got them standing back to back to back to back, for somebody that's a really selective buyer like me, that doesn't work for me. I know exactly what I'm looking for when I walk into a shop. And when I'm looking at it, I'm saying, what do you have in the glass? And the guy who's working there says, I don't know. Okay, do you have a list of what's in the glass so I don't have to rummage through hundreds of comic books? No. Are they in alphabetical order? Mostly. These are not the answers that are conducive to me coming in and saying, great, I'm going to spend a lot of money here. To a lot of some of the bigger player buyers out there that are just walking along going, I'm going to buy that. Give me all of these and I'm going to walk out with thousands of dollars in books. Great. But for those of us who are on a budget, who live in reality, and who are really, really picky, again, I'm very picky, it doesn't work for me. The other thing that I again, critique on this one, Big B Niagara Falls is a store that's synonymous with the topic of Canadian whites. For those of you who don't know, those are black and white comics that were published in Canada, mainly during the Second World War. I think they actually trailed off a little while after the Second World War, and then they died off completely. But that's the whole impetus of what those are. Nelvana, for example, is a phrase that comes out of Canadian whites. Johnny Canuck, another great one. I just picked up a trade paperback on that one a couple years back. Great read. But those are Canadian whites. So when I walked into this one and I said, do you have any Canadian whites? And the guy said to me, no, we have a guy who works here that buys all the Canadian price variants. I went, that just confused me. Again, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, if you're part of a loosely affiliated, same named company where this is what you guys do and you're known for this, you should probably be a little bit more knowledgeable on those, just that one specific item, just so you can answer that question and say, no, I don't have it, or yes, I do have it. Not no, I do. That wouldn't really make sense, would it? Yeah, maybe if you're passive aggressive. Anyways, so that is sort of my critiques on that one. But I'll tell you the positive things I liked about Big B were the massive store and selection. I'm very, very happy with the trade paperbacks, not trade paperbacks, with the hardcovers that I'll show you guys in a couple minutes. So Big B, Again, I'm sort of neutral on this one. It's sort of like that whole thing of buying and having to go through all these and it taking a couple minutes of going back and forth and basically me learning what questions to ask so that I can get the answers I needed to find out there was in fact nothing in this giant glass case that I needed. That was just frustrating for me. But again, I know I'm the minority and I know I'm not probably the target market you're looking for, but that's just my critique on that. But other than that, I mean, I am quite happy with the hardcovers that I got, and I'm quite happy with what I got out of there. So I'll stop rambling about these 3 shops now because I'll tell you, like, I've given you my thoughts on it. You had one with like, yeah, it's pretty cool. You got another one with a, yeah. And now you're getting one that's sort of like, but maybe you want to swing by if that's your cup of tea. So I'll stop babbling. Let's look at the books. Okay, so I'm going to go through these from the least important to the most important. Now, this is the least important, not because of anything else, just because I think I have around 9 copies of this comic now. This is Superman number 75. For those of you who don't know, the death of Superman story. With the recent movie that came out, the animated one, speculators, I think, jumped back onto the popularity of this book, even though it was stupidly overprinted at the time. I think this is probably one of the most overprinted books out there, besides early Spawn issues. And I have many copies of this. I don't know why. It's just some weird OCD thing that I do. Every time I see it, I have to buy it. When I was in the States, I was seeing this for 40 bucks a pop. When I was down there recently, I'm at shows up here in Canada. I'm still seeing it for 30, 40 bucks a pop. So if you're out there and you're buying this, word to the wise, buy it in Canada. Pay less per dollar for the book. You hear what I'm saying there? Lower value currency. Buy it for less. Anyway, that was one. I thought that was a pretty big one. It's still out there on my list, and I'm still buying it. This one here. Bingo. First appearance of Dakin. I don't know why. I'm going to go with this. If you don't have this comic in your quote-unquote modern collection, then you don't have a modern collection. Yeah, there's my judgmental statement for the day. Stick it. First appearance of Dakin. I've been looking for this book for 2.5 years. And earlier this year, a local supplier of mine, T.O. Comic Shop, that I see every time I'm at shows, I know the guys, they're great people, shout out to them, thumbs up. They had 2 copies of this, which I bought at a show from them earlier this year. And I thought, great, but I thought I would never see it again. So surprise, surprise, I'm out in the Hammer, and on the wall, there's another copy. Again, it might seem OCD, but you know, when you have the books you know you want, and you know that these are the things that you want to invest in, buy them. Apparently multiples is the name of the game, so there you go. That was the second one I bought. That was a big one. Okay, Piece de Resistance. Bam. First appearance of Apocalypse. Now, this is another book where the speculators went nuts on this with the X-Men movie that came out. I have 2 copies of this already. One of them's kind of, the other one's really good. This one's, it's up there. But I'm quite happy with this one because, quite frankly, but I don't see it. These are just books I don't see locally where I am. So it makes sense to go out and find them. And I did find this. So when I see this for 70 bucks, when literally a couple years back, speculators were just ripping people off for hundreds of dollars for this book, which is stupid because the long-term value of this book is nowhere even close to that. I'll buy that. So I did. So these 3, bring it over here. Oh, big stretching. That's the sound of me being old, by the way, in case if any of you were wondering. These 3, to me, that's a pretty big success. But wait, there's more. Okay, now here's where we get into the win. This is the big win for Comic Connection. Because not only do they have comics, which we just saw, those good, thumbs up for comics. No, then I'm searching around, just wandering through the store, and lo and behold, what do my little eyes see? And I'm saying little for a reason. That's pretty little, eh? Let's zoom that in, shall we? This is what they call a big little book. For those of you who have an Overstreet, go to the front of it. There's a section, an entire section dedicated to these books. And they didn't just have one. They had 2 of these. Now, I've been looking for these for 25 years. Earlier this year, I was down in 2nd and Charles in the States, and I posted a video about this. I saw 4 of them. I bought them. I didn't think twice. And I thought I'd never see any more again. Then I'm at this little shop in the Hammer, and I'm talking to him, and he's like, oh yeah, I had a butt ton of those. I sold them all out over the last couple of years. Those are the last 2 left. I find that very frustrating. But I go to pay for these. So look at the cover price. It's $10. I get there, and all of his, what he called books, were 50% off. So I got these basically 2 for 1. Now, they're not in great condition, but who cares? You just don't see them. Phenomenal, utterly phenomenal. This was the point where I was like, okay, this store just went from, yeah, okay, this is a mild wow, to a full-on wow. So, people, go here. Go to this stop. This is important. Okay, so what I've got here is I'm going to go through the 3 books that I think really made Big B Comics one of those experiences as opposed to just a negative one. Because I tell you, initially I'll tell you, this place did not match my shopping mold. It didn't match what I look for. It didn't match what I'm looking for when I go into a shop. And that's just me. This is all me. Not them, me. It's not you, it's me. But that being said, when I came out, I was like, or when I was getting ready to come out, I was like, but then I discovered this. And what I discovered there was boxes and boxes and boxes of hardcover reprints. And this is the first one that I got. So what you're going to see here when I go through these all is all 3 of them are DC Archive editions. I have been buying these whenever I can because they have a ridiculously high cover price on them. And whenever I'm buying them, I'm always buying them from eBay and paying ridiculous premiums, which always pisses me off. And I do these because I really enjoy reading them and then reviewing and posting my thoughts on these on my website. I actually do have a website where I just randomly rant about reprinted comics or trade paperbacks. And I enjoy doing reviews of these much more than I enjoy doing reviews of the modern garbage that's out there. And yes, that was my judgmental statement for the day. And if you want to follow that, go to deadlystaples.com. Thumbs up for deadlystaples.com. Anyway, so 7 Soldiers of Victory, Volume 1. I didn't buy anything that was Volume 7 or 12 or anything because I'm a little OCD that way. I'm going to start from the beginning so that I can get it from day 1. So, 7 Soldiers of Victory. I've been looking for a 7 Soldiers of Victory book probably for about 10 years since I first found out or heard of this quote-unquote team because I have no idea who the hell these people are. So now I've got them, I'm reading them, I'm quite happy to have them, and I can actually say I'm within the last 3 pages of getting this book done. There's only 4 comics that are reprinted in this, which is actually really low, but what are you going to do? It's what it was. So that's the first one. The second one I got, DC Archive Edition, and this is Superman, World's Finest Comics. Again, Volume 1, Siegel and Schuster stories. Holy crap. Again, where are you going to find this? Out of print right now. If you want to find this, you got to find it online, pay a huge premium, and I got it for a ridiculously cheap price. Okay, last one. Last one here. Ooh, again, that's the sound of me being old and groaning as I'm moving crap around. Obviously, I'm getting too old. Hawkman. This is a really weird character. I can't personally see anything that's redeeming with the overall concept of Hawkman. But it does have, and it's just me, every time I've read a Hawkman book, I've always been disappointed. But the original idea of Hawkman, the golden age idea of Hawkman, is always one when I look back at the origin that they had for them, was kind of cool. And I was like, all right, well, that's kind of neat. And it kind of carried into the Silver Age, but then it just went rapidly to poop after that. So it's got a weird cult following. The character, for some reason, just has people either love him or hate him. I'm giving him a chance. So I've got this. Again, Volume 1, the Archives, DC Archive Edition. Now, let's put these 3 right up here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, how much did I spend for these books? $20 a piece. $20 a piece. I've never seen these for $20 a piece. Canadian. So when I saw these, holy poop. It took what was, at that point in time, one of those kind of, okay, I'm not going to come back here sort of experiences to me, and said, all right, no, hold on. This makes the whole thing redeemable. Now, they had a lot of other trade paperbacks. I just wasn't shopping for trade paperbacks this time. And it had a huge selection, so I will give it that. So anybody who's looking for a big selection of trade paperbacks and reprints, anybody who's looking for a good deal to find stuff like this, go to Big B Hamilton. It is worth it. And I think the key lesson here really is go outside your local area when you're looking for things you can't find. Because I can tell you, when I was looking for an extra copy of this, and I was looking for an extra copy of this, quite frankly, but you gotta go for a road trip. Your guys locally are great. They're gonna get you what you need to get by. But when you start having very specific requirements, they're only gonna get what comes through the shop. if you're looking for it and you're in the area and you can't find it, the odds are everybody else that's in your area that's been looking for it also can't find it, and probably also doesn't have it. Or if they do, they certainly aren't selling it back to the shop for you to magically find later. So yeah, be loyal to your local shop. That always comes back and pays you back dividends in the end. But at the end of the day, when you're looking for specific stuff, go for a ride. So is it worthwhile driving out to the Hammer? Uh, well, if you've already got business out there, yeah, it totally is. Head out to the Hammer, visit Comic Connection. Great shop. Spend some time in there. I wish I had more time. And the next time I'm in the Hammer, I will allocate probably at least a couple hours just to go through that shop. So do so. Mental note, real lesson here though is road trip, road trip, road trip. Always road trip. Without it. What's that, Nathan? Yeah, that's right.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Oh, you think so, eh? All right, so.